Surprise daily financial news. It is Friday, January 26th. Let's get into it. Let's talk about new home sales. Let's talk about pending home sales. Let's talk about PCE. Let's talk about rent inflation. Lots and lots of stuff going on in the housing market. Let's get into it. Let's first talk about new home sales. These new home sales are for December. And folks, first and foremost, for the year of 2023, new home sales were up 4.2%. The price crash, again, if you are looking at prices are down 14%. How can that be, Michael? You told me, or you guessed, or you estimated that home prices would be flat. But wait, new home sale prices are down from roughly a $490,000 peak now to about $420,000. That is certainly a crash. How do you explain it? Well, folks, new home sales, unlike existing home sales, is very different. What have you and I talked about all year? Housing is unaffordable. We've also talked about builders potentially building smaller homes. We have also talked about buyers trading down. Hey, you can't afford the big house, but you need a house, so you're going to buy something smaller. And lastly, we have learned that the product mix or location mix has changed. Let me ask you this. If transactions for new home sales went up in the Midwest and South, but down in the West and Northeast, what do you think would happen to median price? The answer, of course, is it would go down. And finally, for those of you who are watching Doomers and Crash Bros and going, see, Michael, you are wrong. Well, let me explain to you how math works. This is the cleanest example I have for you. But at the end of the day, you will believe a failed mortgage broker or a renter with pretty charts, and that's okay by me. What is it? In October of 2022, when the median home price was $497,000, 33% of transactions were below $400,000. Okay, great. What just happened in December? Well, folks, in December, 47% of transactions were below $400,000. Now let's remember, new home sales up 4.7%. Prices below $400,000 up, what would that be? 14%, right? From 33 to 47. So anytime you have a movement in the portfolio or mix to the lower end, median price crashes. Now, if you're a crash bro, you are undoubtedly sending out charts and pretty pictures talking about new home sale prices falling. Don't fall for it. Smaller homes, cheaper locations. It's just math, folks. You can't argue with math, but crash bros will. Next, let's talk about pending home sales. Pending home sales for December. Pending home sales up 8.3%, largest increase since mid-2020, up the highest in 5 months. The estimate for December was to be up 2%, but on this channel, on December 17th, we declared the spring selling season has started. And yes, folks, it has. We've been talking to real estate agents across the country that below the median, we are unfortunately seeing bidding wars. We are unfortunately seeing lack of supply. As rates fell, demand picked up. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Again, I do not want rates to go sub 6, because if they go sub 6, this thing gets wild in 2020 like, and nobody wants a repeat of 2020. So again, new home sales up, prices down, but it's a mixed problem. Pending home sales up because rates are down. And yes, folks, unfortunately, it does look like the spring selling season has started. How about inflation? We got CPI, we got PPI, now we got PCE headline and PCE core. PCE core is the one the Fed looks at, so let's go there first. PCE core now has a 2 handle on it. It was estimated to come in at 3%. It actually came in at 2.9. Yes, folks, the Fed is winning. Inflation is falling. It is disinflation, not yet deflation. But yes, core inflation 2.9, up 0.2% month on month. Headline, which includes food and energy, up 2.6, again with a 2 handle on it, with month on month being 0.2. Consumer spending up 0.7 on an estimate of 0.5, so exceeding expectations. Personal savings, folks, people are dipping into their savings, up 3.7 when it was estimated to be 4.1. So again, folks, inflation coming in. GDP was just reported at 3.3. I don't know about you, but that soft landing looks at least more possible. We do need to watch the unemployment because we are seeing more and more layoffs. Paramount announced layoffs. Business Insider announced layoffs. Microsoft announced layoffs. Levi Strauss announced layoffs. Folks, let's talk about layoffs. We haven't talked about this in a while. It's been about a year. If you want to increase your chances of being okay and surviving a layoff, you've got to get close to core revenue. Folks, even Google or Alphabet has cut back on what they call moonshot projects. Yes, folks, I know you think you are investing in the future of the company, but I want you to hear this. You are at risk of being cut because they want to save cash or burn rate. They will do the moonshot later. Get close to revenue, core revenue, whether that be license sales, renewals, customer support. You've got to get close to revenue to increase your chances of surviving. Something that's very interesting for the W-2 employees. You know, I have a place in my heart for W-2 employees. You need to understand your job is the key to building wealth. It's not a prison. 99% of Warren Buffett's wealth came after 50. A lot of you think that you're done at 30, 40, or 50, or even 60. But again, it is a game that you can play. You can make small changes today. You can increase discretionary income. You can plant seeds. You can grow assets. Finally, I want to talk about a CNBC article. In this CNBC article, it referenced a family of 4, mom and dad, 2 kids. They made $500,000 a year. You would think this couple at $500,000 a year was balling, where in reality, I have the numbers here. So $500,000 gross after taxes and 401k contributions and all of that. Their net was $278,000. Yes, over 40% went to taxes and other stuff. So $500K gross, $278 net. It gets way, way worse. Their lifestyle, their fixed expenses. This is sad. This is sad. Their fixed expenses left them with discretionary income of $7,300. If you want to see the full breakdown of their expenses, just follow me on Twitter or X, one rental at a time. In this case, the 1 is the number given the character count, so 1 rental at a time. You'll see it. I posted it. But why is this important? Because again, I keep telling you that discretionary income is all that matters. And I always use an example of a $1,000 video game console. You could think of a phone, whatever you want, discretionary. So here's the deal. If you have $7,300 of discretionary income, that equals $3.50 an hour. Folks, can you imagine making $500,000 a year and all you have is $3.50 discretionary? That is consumerism. That is balling out. That is keeping up with the Joneses. That is making bad financial decisions, in my opinion. So $3.50. Now your kid, your significant other wants that new phone or whatever. It's $1,000. So take $1,000, divide it by $3.50, and you get 286 hours. You will have to work 286 hours to buy that $1,000 thing. Folks, that is more than 7 weeks. I keep telling you, discretionary income is the only thing that matters. If you want to get your money right, you have to understand and grow discretionary income. You can whack expenses, you can grow income, or do both. Folks, I think it is a national crisis that a family of 4 could gross $500,000 and only have $3.50 discretionary. That is not good. So let's talk about rents falling, rents falling, rents falling. Yes, folks, rents are down 3 months in a row. They are down 0.78%. Again, let's call it 1% between friends. Why is this important? Well, if you go back to CPI, you will remember that rent is still estimated at 6.5%. If we now have rent actually down or negative, true deflation, it is only a matter of time until the shelter inflation goes from a positive 6.5% to something near zero. Why is that important? Well, folks, shelter is roughly speaking 33% of inflation. And if instead of calculating at 6.5, you calculate it at 0, you can pretty much take CPI headline to 0. Yes, folks, that is the math. You will certainly go sub 2% like that. So, folks, we certainly seem to be on a path to inflation coming in. The economy is still, by all accounts, holding up, but we have to watch the weekly unemployment numbers. The weekly unemployment numbers did tick up last week. We are hearing more layoffs. Again, Paramount, Microsoft, Levi's, who else? Business Insider, and more, I'm sure. So we got to be careful. Again, get close to revenue. Folks, again, I want to remind you that the 10-week boot camp that was $1,000 can now be had on replay for only $99. Yes, folks, go through the entire 10-week boot camp. Watch the questions, look at the spreadsheets, look at the buy box, get the discipline, get the other things. It is out there for you. And best of all, if you buy the course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time at $399, I will give you $100 in bonus content. Yes, folks, you can get the boot camp for free if you buy How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. You can get your money right for free if you buy the How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. You could get 2 $50 courses. So again, completely up to you. Don't forget to join the Facebook group. We will be there, questions, answers, all of that. Folks, take care of yourself. Surprise! Daily financial news. Bye.